Hey everybody, Kendall here. I've got an overview and playthrough of this flip and write game. This is it's called Nib Quest, Mystery of the Hidden Grail Pen. In this, you are at a big pen show, fountain pen show, and there's whispers of a legendary Grail pen. So you are looking among the vendors, and you'll see these little, like the Jack of Clubs here, Queen of Hearts. So the Jacks and Queens, as they come up through the deck, they do work in your hand, but they also give you information. So you cross these out as they come up. The final vendor to show up is the location of the Grail pen. You start with a hand of 3 cards, and the first card you draw, whatever suit that is the entrance you come through. So hearts, clubs, so forth. And then throughout the game, you can exit an entry through you can go out any exit and come in through any door. There's little coffee stands where you can, add cards to the bottom of the draw pile. Otherwise, the draw pile, when it is gone, the game is over. So the draw pile in this game kind of represents your resources, your time, your money, your energy, your passion for the fountain pen hobby, those kinds of things. So you are going throughout the floor, and as you get next to one of these icons, so you've got an ink icon, there's limited types you can find here. The notebook is an accessory icon, and there's certain kinds you can get. And then the fountain pens. So you are going around, you're testing inks, and then you can buy inks that you've tested. You can buy fountain pens, you can buy accessories, and then for fountain pens you've purchased, you can also get a custom nib grind done, which are these green icons here. So down below, I've got some rules kind of summarized on the side, as well as a full, rules document. The hope is that these rules would be enough if you've read through it. These are just reminders. And at the bottom here, you have pens that you're buying, and based on the value or the number of the card and the suit, you are filling this in. The nib type is down here. You've got kind of a reference of the types of nibs, and the pens themselves you can kind of make up and write in what they are. These are just examples that you could use as categories. So that's kind of fun that you can write this in. And then your inks, you have a place to test. Once you've tested the ink, and you would write the real or imaginary name of the ink here. After you test it, you can get a small bottle or a large bottle. They're worth different points. So you've got points for ink, you've got points for pens, and then the lesser of is your points plus accessories for your final score. You need to have a score of 25 and be at the location of the Grail pen to win, as well as a final hand that has card values that are at least 25. So your hand has 25, you have to have 25 points, and you have to be at the location. You cannot backtrack, so where you fill in, that's part of the curse of this this Grail pen, is that the vendor floor changes, and basically the Grail pen would disappear. So anyway, kind of a fun puzzle that you are trying to not cut off access to certain vendors until you know where that final location is. Also, aces, as those come up, represent, they're also used in your hand, but they also represent a curse. And if you say the Ace of Hearts comes up, if you don't have a pen that has a heart suit, or an ink that's in this heart suit, then you would need to fill in one or both of these squares, making the floor harder to navigate. So if you had a pen or an ink, you could fill in just one of your choice. If you're missing both, then you would have to fill in both. All right, if an icon doesn't have suits next to it, like this pen here, then there's no restriction on the type of pen you could get there. But if there's a number listed, like inks, you could only get 6 through 10 of any suit, or say this, where it's only diamonds or hearts. So anyway, enough of that. Probably the best thing is just to jump into the game, and I will explain as we go. Okay, so I'm set up. I've got a shuffled deck of cards, both jokers. I've got some fountain pens. You don't need fountain pens. Well, I mean, you do. In general, you need fountain pens, right? Just kidding. But this can be used pencil, pen. It is kind of fun to have different colors. You don't need, 12 different colors or anything, but you certainly could. I am going to be using a couple colors so that as I fill in squares, I can see, from turn to turn, try to alternate. Your most recent movement where you mark out has to connect to the prior. And I hope you can see this well enough. I may try to do some zooming in once in a while, but let's get started. So the first card is a diamond. So I will be starting down here, and I have 3 cards. Face cards, jacks and queens, and actually aces as well, all function as any number of that suit up to a 7, so 2 through 7. Kings are wild. They can be any card, but they also hold a space in your appointment book. If you get 2 kings, you can use that as a appointment for a Nib Meister to get a custom nib ground. But a king can be used for anything. But first things first, I am going to find the Queen of Spades on here and cross them out, so I know that the hidden Grail pen is not at that location. All right, and now this is a good hand. You have a hand limit of 3, and you can't get more cards until you've used them, discarded them, or shifted them to other things. So you do have a watch list, which is up to 2 cards. That can be any cards, and then you have an appointment book, which can only be kings or jokers, basically, because jokers can be wild as kings. So I think I will set aside the queen in my watch list, as well as the 9. So I have my limit full there. I want to get more cards, but I can't till I use this. Let's use this, and I don't want the coffee stand, because that it adds 2 cards to the bottom of your draw deck, but I'd like to avoid that if I can. So I'm going to go to the side here. So you can move up to 7. 7 is the maximum. So I'm going to use my 5, and I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I think I'm going to go here. All right, so those 5 squares, I'm just going to shade these in. This is Diamine Aurora Borealis in a TWSBI 580 here. Okay, so I've used this for movement. This goes in the discard, which will be off screen. All right, I can draw 3 new cards. And the ace. this is early on for a curse. I don't have a pen or an ink with a club. So I have to find the Ace of Clubs. It actually blocks off both of these squares, making the game a little harder. All right, now the ace just functions as a 2 through 7 of that suit. So what I'm next to is, I'm currently next to some ink. As long as it's below 5, I'm next to an ink of with spades or diamonds. So I can definitely test some ink out. The way that testing ink goes, because you can't buy an ink until you've tested it. I know literally you could buy ink before you test it, but anyway. This, by the way, this is a Lamy Vista, and it has burnt orange Faber-Castell ink in it. So I'm going to use these to test some ink, and you discard one card, and then anything that's in your hand or your watch list can be tested as well, as long as it lines up with the parameters here. So, which technically we're dealing with 2 different places. So I would have to declare which one I'm testing. I think 2 through 7. So I wouldn't be able to do this club at either one. Well, I would if it's a 2. But then that excludes this 8 and this 9. Remember, the queen's wild, so I'm gonna say I'm at this one, so I can test everything but the club, and I'm gonna discard, say, this 3, and I'm going to test an ink that's in the spade section here. I'm gonna say I'm testing Tyrian Purple. Now, this may drive certain people nuts. I'm writing this purple with an orange ink, but anyway. Okay, so we've tested, and while we're at it, we can test anything else besides this. So we're going to test a diamond up here. Let's test this orange ink. We're going to call this burned orange. All right, you don't have to smudge it, but you know, it's kind of fun. All right, so I've tested that one. I've got another diamond and a spade. So let's do, let's see. Let's test this black. This is going to be platinum carbon black. And again, you could make up ink names here. You could use different colors to write it in. All right, and then this one, we'll say that is, what is the name of that? I was going to say that's like a coffee, but let's call this Autumn Oak. That's one I like. Mine's Autumn Oak. Okay, so we were able to test 4 inks out of the 5 cards we had. We just had to discard 1. So now we're still in place. We don't have to move. We can still operate here. And I may want to purchase a bottle. Your small bottles are 1 point, your large ones are 3. And the difference is it takes 1 card to buy a small bottle. It takes 2 cards, and your second card can be anything. So let's do that. Let's buy a large bottle of Autumn Oak here. So I'm going to fill this in. Cute little ink bottle, and that way these 2 are both getting discarded, and I can take some more cards. Hopefully this is making sense. Please post any comments with questions below, and that's awesome. Okay, so we've got another vendor that is narrowing down our hidden grail. So the Jack of Clubs, it is not that location. We did buy an ink, but that doesn't protect us from this curse because it's aces. So, or sorry, yeah, it's hearts. So, yeah, we don't have an ink with hearts or a pen. We have to fill in both squares. So we're going to do that right here. All right. So we've addressed the things with these cards. Now they're just 2 through 7. I'm still in this location. I can definitely test more ink. I can buy some ink. I can use one of these to move forward and get a pen. You know, I'm in ink mode. I think it makes sense to do some more. So let's see. I think, yeah, the club again. Actually, these cards up here, this is a 9, but this can be anything. So these will all be 5 or less for this. So I'm going to say I'm testing ink here. Let's test some more ink, and let's do a club. Let's see. Let's do this lighter green. This could be Emerald of Chivor or Emerald of Chicken. All right. This is Jinhao 80, and it's got charred hickory in it, so I'm quite liking that. But all right, so we tried this one, and we're going to discard it. And then let's do another spade. Our last spade we'll test. This one, one of my favorites, Diamine Sargasso C. Okay. All right, actually, I already have, so I can't test another because I've done all my spades. Let's do this heart. This one, let's say this is SBRE Brown. Okay. And we can't use this one because we're doing this 2 through 5. So where we're at now, I think we want to buy another bottle. I think that makes sense. Let's do, we've already suffered the curse of the clubs and the hearts, so let's hurry and buy a spade ink because that will protect us. Let's do Sargasso C. I think that sounds good. We're going to buy a large bottle. Why not? So we're using 2 cards. Again, this represents money, time, also your passion for that pen or that ink. So we're using those up. And we haven't traveled very far, but that's okay. Traveling too far too fast, you could cut yourself off from where the Grail pen will be. So there's kind of a balance between getting what you need and getting to the place you need. So, all right, no curses. That's good. Let's see. I think we're ready to get a pen. So, in fact, let's do this. Let's use this 3 as movement. And we don't need to move far to get to this pen area here. We're just going to go those 3 spaces. We now cannot access these prior ink spots unless we came at it from another side and we're adjacent. So we are limited here. But let's get a pen. I want to get, so this club symbol, club and hearts. So really they're selling pens that have a clear or a custom resin, or they're wood or other materials. So this is not vintage pens or modern. At least that's the inspiration here. You could definitely just do what you want. I'm gonna say, let's do this. This is a special material. Let's say it's one of those Viscontis made of lava. So it's an 8, so 8 through 10, it's a 3-star pen. You could say it's the most expensive. You could also say that it's the most that you love, or that takes the most time to research. So we're gonna write Visconti, Homo sapiens, what is it, the Bronze Age. So this will take 1 card per star, plus 1 for the nib. So it will take all 4 of the cards that I have. So these watch list cards came in handy. Say I only had 3 cards, I could still buy this, but it would be, the 4th card would be drawn blind off the top. But you can't draw blind if you have the amount of cards that you need. So you want some unique nibs in here. Right now I don't have any nibs. Let's go with a... if they're 8+, they're harder to get typically. So let's use this 9 for a needle point. So it's diamonds, 8+ needle point. Or I could get it with a flex. No, I can't, because this is the fountain pen type, so it's not that one. And I've only got spades, so that would be a fine or a medium. I'm actually going to do the needle point, so I'll write that in. Okay, so we're set there. This is a clubs pen. It doesn't protect me from these other curses. I probably, you know, maybe I should have bought a different pen, but this is what I've got. All right, and you definitely want to keep kind of a balance of points here and here between pen and inks, because it's your lesser of that gets counted. So all 4 of these are being spent. All that time and money and passion, all that. It's an expensive pen. So, all right, I'm gonna get some more cards. All right, I've got a king. This is going in my appointment book. I just want to save these in case I want to get a nib grind done. Later I can take out of here and put it into my watch list or my hand. These 2 I'm gonna go ahead and just put in my watch list so I can get more choices ahead. All right, I've got my 2nd king. So I could get a special grind on the pen that I have if I can get up to that space. So something to think about. So I've got some clubs here. And I've got a diamond up here. So I'm trying to think if I want to, you know, protect myself from a curse. That could be an important thing, but I don't really, yeah, I don't have, well, actually, been cursed with hearts, so I could do, yeah, I'm not sure. I think what I'll do is, come up this way. I forgot to mention another element. You can change the value of a card by discarding one. You can also discard to change the suit. So I think what I'm going to do is discard the 9. Actually, I'm going to discard the 6. I'm going to discard the 6 to change this to a heart. So I can buy a pen that's a heart here, and I can do a heart pen with an architect nib. So I'm going to do that. Hearts are modern, sorry, clear or resin. I'm going to say like this is a Bennu pen. This could be a Euphoria. And this is also 3 stars, so more points. And it will be with a flex nib. All right, so it's going to cost me 4 cards, 3 stars plus the nib. I've got 3 here. I don't have to discard these if I don't want to because it's your appointment book. I'm just going to go off the top. Hope it's not something good. And all right, there's my cost. So I've got 2 pens. I've got 2 bottles of ink. Let's fill my cards back up here. All right, so I do like having this wild. I'll keep it up here. We know the location's not the Queen of Hearts. And what do we have? I think what we might want to do is come up here and get a notebook. I've gotten 2 pens already. I'll probably come up here and get a nib grind. Let's see. Let's make our way up this way. Let's do this one as a 7. So let's alternate pen colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Coming all the way up this side. Okay. Now, my future movement, I can come off of this side. I can also come off of this side. As long as it connects adjacent to your last part, then you're fine. I think I will save this 2 and get fresh cards. All right, we know the location's not the Queen of Diamonds, so it's not this vendor. Which is good, because getting there would be hard this way anyway. All right, well, so our accessories down here, the clubs, which looks like a tree, is for notebooks, because wood. Same thing with pens. A wooden pen is clubs. A diamond is kind of like shiny, so a display case or a pen holder. And then a carrying case is a heart because you care about your pens. So anyway, you'll notice there's not a spade here, and that's because spades are the only thing for nib grinds. So I'm up here next to a nib grind. I don't have a spade besides this wild card, which I don't want to use that. But to grind a nib, you need 2 kings and a spade of any kind. So I'm ready for that, other than maybe I'll buy some accessories and some ink and see if I can get a more generic spade to use. So what I want to do, I think we got diamond or clubs here. So this can be up to a 7. To get a luxury item down here, any value for 1, 6 or higher, and a second card of any type. So we use this as a 6 or higher, and then any other card. I might use this too. So let's use those 2. I am getting myself a fancy schmancy pen display case, which is 3 points down here. And that'll be 3 points on top of lesser of these 2. So All right, so that's my cost. I've got 2 cards left. I think I could do a, let's see, well, I could do a carrying case, but there's no heart here. I could do a bottle of ink. Yeah, a bottle of ink is 2 cards. I think I'll do that. So SBRE Brown, we're going to get a whole bottle of that. Remember, you have to have a test before you can buy, so we've got what we need here, the heart for this, and the extra card. Okay.